It never begins with chaos. It begins quietly. You're young, maybe 6, maybe 8, standing in a room where the air feels heavy. A parent is there, but not really there. Their body shows up, but their mind is somewhere else. Maybe drowning in stress, maybe anger, maybe sadness they never learned how to carry. And in that moment, something shifts inside you. You don't decide it consciously. Your mind simply understands one thing. Someone has to hold this together. And somehow, that someone becomes you. This is how a child doesn't vanish physically, but disappears psychologically. You become quieter, more observant. You sense moods before words are spoken. You learn when to speak and when to stay invisible. You grow up long before your age allows it, and the world showers you with empty praise. You're so mature. You're very responsible. You're so kind. But no one ever stops to ask, what did this cost you? This is the invisible grief of those who grew up too fast. And today, we're going deep into the psychology of that child. Because that child doesn't disappear with age, it becomes a shadow in adult life. It follows you into relationships, careers, and your sense of worth. Without realizing it, you repeat the same patterns that once protected you, but now quietly harm you. Let's understand what's really happening beneath the surface. When a child is forced to emotionally support adults instead of being protected by them, psychology calls this parentification. It's when a child becomes the listener, the caretaker, the peacemaker, the protector, not because they want to, but because they have to. And this doesn't just shape behavior, it reshapes the brain. When a child constantly monitors emotions, their own or everyone else's, the nervous system becomes hyper-alert. You're always scanning for danger. You read the room. You learn that love feels conditional. If you stay calm, maybe things won't fall apart. If you behave, maybe you'll be safe. You slowly accept that your needs matter less and theirs matter more. You don't disappear on the outside, but inside you become someone else. You take on the role of the good child, the silent achiever, the reliable one, the one who never asks for anything. And you wear that role so well that one day you forget it was ever a role. But deep inside, you know the truth. It still hurts. Because the inner child you left behind didn't die. They survived, quietly, echoing inside you with unanswered questions. Why was no one there for me? Why was I so alone? As you grow older, the effects don't disappear. They become more subtle and more painful. You might become hyper-independent. You refuse help. You push people away. You struggle in relationships. You may feel strangely numb during moments that are supposed to feel happy, because you never learned what safety feels like. You may believe rest is a weakness, that your worth comes from how productive you are. And without realizing it, you begin to confuse exhaustion with success. This isn't a personality flaw, it's a nervous system that never learned how to rest. When chaos is normalized early, the mind accepts it as baseline. Calm feels wrong. Love feels like something you have to earn. Safety feels temporary. This is the psychology of a child forced to grow up too fast. It's not just sadness, it's childhood trauma that shapes how you see the world. You might wonder, why would any child take on this role? The answer is simple. Children will do anything for love and attachment, even abandon themselves. No child chooses this consciously, but biologically, children sacrifice themselves for connection. For them, attachment is survival. When safety isn't available, the child adapts. They trade authenticity for belonging. That's not weakness, that's intelligence. But what once kept you safe can quietly imprison you later. So many adults walk through life highly functional on the outside, while a neglected inner child controls their reactions. They overgive, they over-explain, they stay silent to avoid rejection. They take care of everyone, while secretly hoping someone will finally notice them. That longing is the unmet need of a child who never got to be a child. This pattern shows up everywhere. In friendships where you become the emotional caretaker, in relationships where you overfunction and slowly grow resentful. You may apologize for crying, feel uncomfortable receiving compliments, flinch at softness. These are not personality traits, they are learned survival strategies. And here's the truth: anything learned can be unlearned. Healing doesn't begin with fixing yourself, it begins with honoring your wounds, by acknowledging what happened, by allowing yourself to feel what you never had space to feel. You can ask yourself one powerful question: what did I need back then that I never received? The answers are often simple: reassurance, protection, permission to rest, someone to care for me. And slowly, very slowly, you begin to offer those things to yourself, not to rewrite the past, but to stop living inside it. This is how you stop searching for parents and partners. This is how you reclaim the child you were forced to leave behind. Psychologist Carl Jung once said that consciousness comes at a cost, and that people will do almost anything to avoid facing their inner world, because it's uncomfortable, because it hurts. But here's the truth no one told you. No one is coming to rescue that child. You are the one who must go back and hold their hand. You are the one to say what no one ever said. You didn't deserve that. You were just a child. You get to rest now. Healing is slow. It's emotional. It's honest. Let that child cry. Let them play. Let them finally be seen. You're not broken. You're becoming whole. And maybe for the first time, you're finally growing up the way you were always meant to. You didn't have a childhood, but you still have a future. And this time, you get to write it.